Hi, Lee Welch, Director of Customer Success here at Element 34, and welcome to this short video in which we'll walk through some of the basic features of SBOX. SBOX is our flagship product here, and essentially what we're doing is we're giving you access to a testing grid within your own corporate network. This grid will allow you to run both manual and automated tests against a whole host of different browsers and their various versions, and a whole host of different mobile devices too. The goal of this video is not to dive into every feature available, but give you an idea of what's possible. So with that in mind, we will jump into SBOX. I have already logged in at this point. I could log in with local credentials or set up integrations with OpenID or any identity provider. Remember, as I mentioned, the SBOX is installed within your corporate network. So these integrations, there's no risk with exposing certain endpoints out to the public internet or outside of your network. I've logged in, and once I've logged in, I can see a whole host of different options on the left-hand side here. The account that I've logged in has full access, so I can see all of the options available. We're not going to go through all of them today, but what we will look at first is the manual testing side. Once I click the manual tab here, I can see a whole host of different browsers and browser versions available to me. And now at this time of recording, 114, for example, is the latest version of Chrome available. I also have mobile devices here, and I can add iOS as well if needs be. Let's very quickly just rename my test to E34 Resource Center, for example. Navigate to the Element 34 website on startup, and then I can pass through different capabilities as you can see here. Let's just pass through E34 video, which will record the session for me so I can play this back at a later point. I'll click the start option, and as you can see, within 2 or 3 seconds, we've spun up a connection to the browser, and now we can start testing. Again, important to know where SBOX is installed. How quickly we've spun up that connection is because everything is installed within your corporate network. Because everything is installed within your corporate network, I can go and test a website that's available in production or available on the public internet, but I can also shift left and test as early as possible without having to expose that environment, create tunnels to different solutions, all installed internally. At this point, I can now start my test. And we won't jump through what that looks like here, but you'll get the idea. This will be the website that you want to test that's relevant to yourself. I can also right click, inspect, so on, if needs be. Once I stop the session, because I did pass through that video capability, if I go to the results tab here, I can open up a new tab, watch back the recording if needs be. No need to do that today. Now, that was the manual testing piece, very short and straightforward. Now let's look at the automation side. So when we're talking automation, we could be testing our website, which would be via Selenium or Playwright. Or if we're looking at mobile app testing, we'll be writing Appium test scripts in that case. Just to give you a reference point, not important what this code is actually doing, but line 23 here is the main difference here. I'm pointing to, as you can see here, my SBOX hub address. This may currently be a Chrome driver, a different hub address, whatever the case may be. I'm pointing to my SBOX hub, and I'm passing through some E34 capabilities, such as token, to authorize that session. Okay, we're not actually going to use what we see here in Eclipse today. What we're actually going to do is quite simply just execute a test from Jenkins with the token relevant to myself. And once that has initialized, so it will take a second to initialize, but once it has, I will see it appear here in the running tab. And we'll just give it a second. It should appear any second now. As we can see here, I can expand on the eye icon and I can see the session live view. I can expand here to see any of the Selenium commands that are being passed through and timestamps against them. And also, if I want to troubleshoot this test, I can add breakpoints to my test script and interact with the test at any given point as well. Once the test is finished, it will appear in my results tab, just like the manual test did. But the benefit of automated testing isn't just firing off one test on one browser, it's being able to test at scale, which means parallel tests or running tests concurrently. So maybe the same test on different browsers, maybe multiple tests on one browser, maybe a combination of the both. And that's what we'll show you now. If I come in here and I build with parameters, same again, but I'm going to test on a whole host of different browsers versus one. I'm going to change my parallel flag, not important here, but just changing that. But if I click build, again, same logic, we go to our running tab. And as soon as we have those tests initializing, we will see them appear here. In my case, I can run unlimited tests. It would just be a case of what resources are behind my SBOX install. And here we can see multiple tests all kicking off at the same time. So if this was all my tests in one build, my build time would just be my longest running test in this case. And this is the benefit of automated testing here. And not important on watching these finish now at this point. We can, in other sessions, dive into troubleshooting. But the last thing I want to show you just in today's video is if I go to the monitoring tab here and I open up my dashboard, just to give you an idea of what's possible within the dashboards available. I can come in here, I can see how many tests have run in the last 15 minutes. Let's change that to last 60 days, for example. And I've created this dashboard and you can see tests broken down by users, projects, their name, if they've passed or failed, different browsers, browser versions. So let's just give you a little bit of a feel here. We'll filter for Francois. I can see all of Francois's tests in the last 60 days. Let's go one step further and filter for what's failed as well. And now I can see 3 of his tests failed and the breakdown of the browsers, browser versions, the test name if needs be as well, and really dive into flaky tests or look at opportunities to test on different browsers or mobile devices and so on. I hope this gives you a good idea, a very basic understanding of what SBOX brings to the table. If you would like to find out more information, feel free to use the Contact Us button on the website or the Request Demo for more information. Thank you.